In any profession, you're going to get some people who are great at their jobs and some people who aren't. Police officers are no different, but in the 1960s and 70s, one cop did something that few others have ever had the courage to do. He stood up and spoke out against the extreme corruption of his own officers in his department and was nearly murdered himself because of it. The name of this hero is Frank Serpico. Born in 1936 in Brooklyn, New York, Francesco Vincent Serpico was the son of Italian immigrants who would grow up and enlist in the U.S. Army at the age of 17, where he would spend 2 years fighting in the Korean War. When he came back, he took a job as a part-time private eye and attended Brooklyn College. He joined the New York Police Department in 1959 and became a full-time officer in 1960, where he worked for the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. He decided to transfer and became an undercover officer, doing a lot of his work in disguises as a construction worker, butcher, or Orthodox Jewish rabbi. A lot of the police officers he worked with didn't like his style or the way he carried himself, as more of a street hippie with a huge beard and mustache, instead of the clean-cut look the department preferred. Serpico's methods got results, though, and his arrest record was impressive at the time. He worked in boroughs of the Bronx, Manhattan, and Brooklyn, and he noticed how often and how serious the corruption was in the police department. Several other officers were involved in everything from sleeping and drinking on the job to gambling, prostitution, and payoffs from organized crime figures and drug dealers. Serpico attempted to report all of this, but his immediate supervisors turned a blind eye and told him to ignore it. The problem became so bad that Serpico, despite being warned by his partners and others in the New York Police Department that he would be killed, persisted and started wearing a wire. In 1970, after Serpico went to the New York Times, the mayor of New York, John Lindsay, created the 5-person Knapp Commission, which, because of Frank Serpico's work, concluded the NYPD had widespread and systematic corruption issues. Serpico was hated, shunned, threatened, and ridiculed in his department from then on because he had talked to outside agencies. On February 3rd, 1971 in Brooklyn, 4 officers received reports about a drug deal that was taking place. When they went to make the heroin bust, Serpico called for backup, but no one came to help, and he was shot in the face with a .22 caliber long rifle. His fellow police officers did not call for an ambulance. That was done by a resident of the building. The bullet went into Serpico's face, just below his left eye, and would make him deaf in one ear and with chronic pain from the fragments in his brain for the rest of his life. No investigation as to whether he was set up ever took place, and the man who shot him would eventually be convicted for attempted murder. Frank Serpico would retire from the New York Police Department in 1972, 1 month after receiving the highest award the NYPD has, the Medal of Honor. A biography on his life was written, and a movie based on his experiences called Serpico, starring Al Pacino, made in 1973. Since his retirement, Frank Serpico still tours and lectures on corruption and injustice, and specifically about police brutality today.